now on Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. Burners finally exiting festival grounds in Nevada after a days-long stranding. We have more on the event that trapped festival goers in the Nevada desert. And 3 women were busted in a human smuggling operation last Friday. Hear how the operation was discovered and the charges the women are facing. Plus, what was supposed to be a happy moment turned tragic at a gender reveal in Mexico. A plane-involved crash seconds after the reveal, and it was all caught on tape. What caused the plane to go down is straight ahead.
Take a look on the outside one more time. A live view from Cuero ISD. Seeing the weather bug camera looking at the Cuero area with the water tower in the center. More heat today, of course. Some rain shower chances. We're still hanging on to that. We'll take a look coming up in your forecast.
A huge game out in Arlington between the Astros and Rangers. I'll have that coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
I'm Trey Mining.
And today it's the 5th day of September 2023.
That it
Trey.
is, yes.
The time is now 6:31 on our Tuesday morning. And on this day in 2017, Hurricane Irma became the most powerful hurricane ever recorded in the Atlantic Basin region with winds of 185 miles per hour. Wow, Trey, that happened right after we were hit with Hurricane Harvey.
Exactly.
And I remember feeling so moved, Trey. I think I went back to church for the first time in 7 years because I just was, so impacted by Harvey and then worried about everyone going to be impacted by Irma.
Yeah, these things are certainly very devastating when they run through, and like we have experienced here with Harvey several years ago. So thankfully nothing is brewing out there now, but always key to be prepared no matter what.
Yes.
That is the key. It's been proven over and over again that saves lives if you just be prepared and be ready just in case. Thankfully nothing out there threatening our region now, and we're looking at a pretty hot day but calm day. 83 degrees on the outside currently with 95 feel-like temperature. Ooh, I tell you what, that tells you right there it's going to be hot again today. That is the feel-like temperature, of course. And 91% humidity, and the humidity is still quite high as we see that Gulf moisture coming in on southerly breezes to take us through the rest of the daytime today. We'll be in the mid-80s along the immediate coast, low 80s from Victoria northward. And heat advisories, well, there's one way to the north of LaGrange up there in central Texas, near Bryan College Station, and they're also near areas near Austin, San Antonio area. But for us around here, keeping it devoid of that. But the heat index values definitely will be in the 108 to 109 range here, so I think that's the criteria enough for a heat advisory. Maybe getting this heat advisory here in the Corpus area to move further to the north. But regardless of what happens, you need to be careful out there. Definitely going to be a dangerous day to be out in the afternoon, especially. You get overheated very easily. On the outside bus stop forecast for the kiddos, dress for school, 80 degrees. And on the daytime hours, 3:30 in the afternoon, bus picking you up, kiddos at the school. Find some shade, stay in the shade, drink plenty of water to find yourself cool in this hot temperatures around here until the bus picks you up. What about the rest of the time period for us around here? Any more rain chances for us? We may be able to dig up some rain chances somewhere. We'll take a look at that coming up in the full forecast. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey. A takedown in a human smuggling operation. Authorities say 4 women are accused of trying to smuggle a Honduran man from the Valley to Houston. The women were reportedly U.S. citizens. The operation was uncovered during a traffic stop last Friday by the Goliad County Sheriff's Office. The women were arrested and now face charges of smuggling and engaging in organized criminal activity. The man was arrested for engaging in organized criminal activity. A mass exodus underway at the Burning Man Festival in the Nevada desert. The main gates finally opening up Monday so that 70,000 festival goers could leave the muddy mess behind. This after some attendees, known as burners, defied a shelter-in-place request over the weekend and made a break for dry ground, some walking for miles. The chaos began after a late summer storm brought 2 months' worth of rain to the area in less than 2 days, making roads impassable and creating a thick mud on the grounds that some compared to quicksand. Police are investigating one person's death, but organizers say it was not storm-related. A joyous occasion turned into a tragedy over the weekend in Mexico. A small plane that was taking part in a gender reveal party crashed shortly after dropping pink smoke on the happy couple. The incident was caught on video. As you can see, the plane's left wing appeared to buckle and fold backward when the pilot tried to pull up. The airplane rolled once before slamming into the ground, killing the pilot. It's unclear what caused that wing to give out. Now to the pier collapse in Wisconsin. An estimated 60 to 80 college students were on the deck when it suddenly plunged into a lake.
This morning, a different kind of peer pressure at the University of Wisconsin in Madison as the fall semester gets underway. A deck with dozens of people suddenly collapsing into a lake on campus, plunging students and members of the public into the water. At least 20 people were hurt and one transported to the hospital.
I was definitely shocked. I was like, oh my God.
Wreckage can be seen floating in the lake after the collapse. The pier on Lake Mendota was scheduled to be removed today for the end of the summer season.
That's like never something you would think would happen.
Incidents like this aren't unheard of. Back in July, a deck collapsed at a country club in Billings, Montana, injured dozens. And in June, 8 children and 1 adult were hurt when part of this Texas boardwalk fell through. Back in Madison, relief that no one was seriously injured.
Everyone was just speechless and everyone was in awe. Like, no one could believe that just happened.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
In a statement, UW-Madison says the area was not staffed by lifeguards at the time of the collapse, and they are planning to investigate what happened. 4 astronauts have returned home from a 6-month stay on the International Space Station, making splashdown landing aboard their SpaceX Crew Dragon early Monday morning. The members of the Crew 6 mission, run jointly by NASA and SpaceX, departed the International Space Station shortly after 7 a.m. on Sunday. They spent the day aboard the 13-foot wide Crew Dragon vehicle as it maneuvered through Earth's orbit and toured its target landing site off the coast of Jacksonville, Florida. Rescue crews hauled the spacecraft out of the ocean and onto a special boat called the Dragon's Nest, where final safety checks took place before the crew disembarked. During their stay on ISS, the Crew 6 astronauts were slated to oversee more than 200 science and tech projects. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now 6:37 on your Tuesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. Big decisions today for the Victoria City Council.
I'm ABC's M. Wynn in Washington. First Lady Jill Biden has tested positive for COVID-19. President Biden has tested negative, but the White House says he'll undergo regular testing. The latest coming up.
Let's review the almanac for Victoria. Yesterday's high was 101, low 78 degrees, above normal for a high and low, obviously, with that. 110, one of the hottest days ever in Victoria back in 2000. Don't think we'll be matching this number here, thankfully, but the heat index value will get close to this coming up. We'll talk about that and the rain chances in your forecast. Good morning, good morning. It's just about 20 minutes away from the 7 a.m. hour. Take a look at the tropics. They're kind of quiet except for one area here we're watching, which does have some hints it's trying to get better organized. So you can see a little low pressure area trying to form here in the counterclockwise rotation of the cloud cover here. And of course, this is 95L. Give you a frame of reference here. This is San Juan, Puerto Rico here, the Lesser Antilles, South America, and the African coast just off the screen here. There's Cape Verde Islands right there. So it's way out there in the Atlantic Ocean, of course. And the model runs, computer-generated models, forecast models, have it pretty consistent with the H model run, moving it to the north of the Caribbean Sea out in the Atlantic Ocean. More than likely not bothering anybody, so hopefully it'll stay out there in the Atlantic Ocean and do just that, not bother anybody at all. Looking at our forecast area here, we'll have high pressure beginning to ridge in again, coming up, a weak low pressure to our north. Kind of gave us a little bit of instability. We'll do so again today, but that'll be moving out to the east in time. High pressure reestablishes itself over the central and southern parts of the state of Texas coming up by the mid-week time frame, keeping our temperatures hot in the 100-degree range or so, and the rain fall out of the forecast for the time being. Full forecast comes a little bit later on before we go this half hour once again. Carolina.
Thank you, Trey. The Astros and Rangers deadlocked in their biggest series of the year so far. Weekend sports anchor Zach Brown has more.
We're in the home stretch of the MLB season, and the Astros and Rangers locked in the biggest series of their season up to this point. In Arlington, the Rangers jumped out to an early 2-0 lead off the bat of Corey Seager. They would eventually go up 3-0, but in the 5th inning, Houston heating up after a base knock gets them on the board. That seeing eye single going to play 2 more to tie the game, but Corey Seager strikes again. That's going to put Texas right back in front, 4-3, but back come the Astros. First, Mauricio Dubon answers to tie the game, and right after him, Jose Altuve puts one in the second deck. Back-to-back bombs for the lead. The Astros put up 6 runs in the 7th inning. They would beat the Rangers 13-6, and with the Mariners loss, the Astros now tied for first and win the Lone Star Series. And out of UHV and their soccer program, Einar Rolfsson, the Red River Athletic Conference Offensive Player of the Week. With your 25 Sports Now, I'm Zach Brown.
Thank you, Zach. All right, we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. Now to the developing news out of Washington. First Lady Jill Biden has tested positive for COVID-19. The White House says she's experiencing mild symptoms and will remain at home in Delaware. President Biden tested negative last night as he prepares to head to India Thursday for the G20 summit. Leaders say he will undergo regular testing.
Overnight, First Lady Jill Biden testing positive for COVID, a year after she last battled the virus. The White House says the 72-year-old is experiencing mild symptoms and will remain at the Biden's home in Delaware. The president, who is not with her, has tested negative.
It's good to be almost home.
Yesterday, the president campaigned in Philadelphia, and he's set to travel to India and Vietnam on Thursday. The White House says Biden, who will turn 81 in November, will receive regular testing and monitoring throughout the week. Both the president and First Lady tested positive for COVID last summer, and each experienced rebound cases shortly after. Both experienced only mild symptoms and were treated with the antiviral medication Paxlovid. The First Lady's diagnosis comes amid a COVID summer surge, with hospitalizations and deaths up nearly 20% in recent weeks.
Now we're living in this a bit of a fantasy world where we're pretending that COVID is not relevant.
Last week, Dr. Deborah Birx, a member of the Trump COVID task force, warned that people were still at risk.
There is a lot of COVID out there, and we're not testing for it, and we're not telling people to get tested.
A new round of booster shots is expected later this month, but it's unclear how well they'll protect against a new variant that has been detected in at least 5 states. And with millions of kids now heading back to school, the surge could grow. Some healthcare facilities in New York and California have reinstated mask mandates as a precaution.
As for the First Lady, the last time she and the president were known to have been together in person was Saturday, when they surveyed storm damage in Florida and returned to their beach house in Delaware. M. Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
Big decisions today for the Victoria City Council. Today they will decide whether to approve and adopt a proposed budget for the 2024 fiscal year. The budget would include projects like street repairs and a public safety headquarters. At today's City Council meeting, his city manager Jesus Garza will share an update on the public safety headquarters design. Victoria citizens would see a 13% decrease in their property tax rate if the budget is approved. The meeting is scheduled for 5 p.m. today. You can find the council in the council chambers at 107 West Wan Lin Street. The City of Victoria invites locals to visit the meeting and share opinions on anything on the agenda. That leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code on your screen to take part. We ask you, do you see a need for a new public safety building? Okay, let's take a look. 22% of you say yes, and 78% of you say no. We want to keep hearing from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. The time is now 6:45 on your Tuesday morning. So to come, Conagra Brands recalling more than 245,000 pounds of frozen chicken strips. Gosh, I think, oh, it's time to celebrate some birthdays.
It's birthday time.
All right. Happy birthday to Mercedes. Hope you have a great day. I love you lots from your family.
And your favorite superhero or villain, actor Michael Keaton, celebrating a birthday today. He is 72. To see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, come to crossroadstoday.com. Click on More Under Home. You'll see there the KVU Submit Your Birthday.
All right, Trey, the time is now 6:46 on our Tuesday morning. Happy birthday if you're celebrating one today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Minutes away from 7 a.m. and the feel like temperature is currently in the 90s to 100 degrees along the coast. It's definitely going to be a hot day today. Triple digits coming up by about 11 o'clock in the morning time. through with most of the crossroads region, and 105 to 108, likely maybe even near 110 parts of the crossroads region coming up by 4 o'clock in the afternoon or so. So please be careful out there and don't stay out too long and don't get overheated. Maybe pop up rain showers somewhere, maybe along the coast, and the inland areas can be out by the afternoon. Most areas remaining dry, as you see here. Best chance of rain the further east you go towards Houston. So today, 97 degrees for the daytime high. Isolated rain shower possible, otherwise partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies. The hot temperatures today, triple-digit heat index value. Overnight lows will be in the 70s, 78 degrees. Mostly clear skies and humid. And for your day tomorrow, more heat, of course. Another slight chance of rain, we'll keep that in there with high temperatures near 100 degrees or so, keeping the heat on and the rain at a minimum for the next several days through the weekend. Highs near 100 degrees or so, lows in the 70s.
Conagra Brands is recalling more than 245,000 pounds of frozen chicken strips because they could contain pieces of plastic. The affected cartons say banquet chicken strips meal on them. They have best if used by dates of December 11th, 2024, January 1st, 2025, or January 7th, 2025. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food and Safety Inspection Services says there's at least one reported injury. Anyone with a recalled product is urged to throw them away or return them to the store. Today, a new legislation goes into effect for both Airbnb hosts and guests across New York City. Under the new law, hosts that use Airbnb and Vrbo, the travel website, will be required to register with the city in order to rent out their spaces for less than 30 days. Restrictions under the new law includes a number of people who will be allowed to stay, and renters cannot have the place to themselves entirely. Hosts must be physically present during the rental, along with all doors inside the property must be unlocked so guests can have access to the entire unit. The new law aims to regulate illegal short-term rentals as the city fights a housing crisis. Luxury car maker Mercedes-Benz claims its new line of electric vehicles will travel longer distances than some of its competitors like Tesla. The German car maker unveiled its new models at the IAA Mobility Auto Show in Munich on Sunday. Mercedes says its new cars can travel more than 466 miles on a single charge. That's compared to less than 380 miles for any Tesla. The 4 Mercedes models will include a sedan, a station wagon, and 2 SUVs. The company says it's unclear when the production on the vehicles will begin. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. Violence erupted in Brooklyn, New York on Monday during the city's annual Caribbean Carnival festivities. Violence erupted in Brooklyn, New York Monday during the city's annual Caribbean Carnival festivities. Authorities say two groups of people got into a fight as the event was wrapping up. One person was shot and two people were slashed. The victims are expected to be okay. Police now looking for the attacker or attackers. Authorities say a stray bullet also struck a fire truck parked on a street. That bullet damaged the truck's windshield. No firefighters were hurt. The mother of the 34-year-old man who escaped a Pennsylvania prison has joined in police efforts to find him. The message was played as a helicopter flew over the area where the suspect is believed to be hiding. Danilo Cavalcante escaped from Chester County Prison shortly before 9 a.m. on Thursday. Authorities say Cavalcante is a Brazilian national fluent in Portuguese and Spanish. He speaks some English. His mother, who is in Brazil, recorded the message for him in Portuguese, urging him to surrender. Firefighters in New York are battling a massive warehouse fire in Queens. The fire broke out on Monday at a New York City Department of Transportation building. The 4-alarm fire started on the roof of the one-story warehouse. About 150 fire EMS workers are on the scene. Residents in the area are told to keep their windows shut. No injuries reported so far. Fire crews in Minneapolis battled a massive house fire on Monday afternoon. The 2-alarm fire broke out at around 4 p.m. on Portland Avenue. The authorities say all residents inside the home were able to escape, but one person is being treated for burns. One firefighter was also treated for probable overexertion. Within 20 minutes, firefighters were able to control the bulk of the fire. The cause of the fire is under investigation. The Luther Hotel in Palacios may be saved from demolition. That's after a foundation was able to free the hotel from contract, which some are calling a huge victory. Edith Gower, the co-chair of the Palacios Preservation Association, says, quote, "This doesn't mean we have won, but it's a significant step forward." Authorities in India ramping up security measures ahead of the G20 summit later this week. All online deliveries from restaurants, food services, and markets, as well as commercial sites like Amazon, are being banned for the duration of the summit. Authorities say they can't allow the activity in the designated control zone for the G20, where leaders including Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and U.S. President Joe Biden will be meeting. Essential services like medicine deliveries will be allowed in Delhi during this period. The G20 summit takes place September 9th and 10th. After thousands of people spent days stranded at the Burning Man Festival following days of torrential rain, they finally got to take part in the festivities Monday night. The festival's climax, postponed twice because of the weather, finally took place. The burning of a towering wooden effigy shaped like a man. The festival was closed to vehicles after more than half an inch of rain fell Friday, causing flooding and foot-deep mud. The closures came just before the first two ceremonial fires, signaling an end to the festival scheduled to begin Saturday night. The annual gathering, which launched on a San Francisco beach over 3 decades ago, attracts nearly 80,000 artists, musicians, and activists for a mix of wilderness camping and avant-garde performances. Record high power demand and faltering electricity sources tested Texas's power grid in August. Energy experts say a future of longer, hotter summers and rising electricity use requires a change in how we think about power. Read this story by the Texas Tribune on our website, crossroadstoday.com. We want to invite y'all to experience a digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. Now we have time for a final look at our viewer poll. Let's take a look at our viewer poll. Do you see a need for a new public safety building? It's all part of the budget for the City of Victoria, anticipated to be adopted by council members later today at 5 p.m. But let's take a look at this viewer poll. All right. 25% of you say yes, and 75% of you say no, you don't think there's a need for a new public safety building. Thank you for taking part in our viewer poll. Now let's get a final look at our forecast with Trey.
And thank you, Carolina. I'll take a look at the temperatures today. The upper 90s near 100 degrees, 105 or higher heat index value in the afternoon. Maybe pop-up rain shower somewhere, otherwise mostly sunny skies. Overnight lows in the upper 70s with mostly clear skies again for your overnight tonight. For your day tomorrow, 99 degrees Wednesday. Isolated shower and thunderstorm possible, 20% chances. Small chances, but they're there. Heat continues well into the hundreds coming up for the next several days through the weekend and the next week. Low temperatures in the 70s, of course. Remember, your heat safety tips, you're outside, drink plenty of water, find some shade, and make sure that you stay cool on the outside out there. Making a great day today, Carolina.
Thank you, Trey, and thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today, and join James, Mac, Karina, and Gino today for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10.